Why did the Kremlin disappear during World War II? The disasters brought by war are immense, especially the two world wars that broke out in the first half of the 20th century, causing incalculable loss of life and property worldwide. The participating countries were bombed beyond recognition, with many famous buildings becoming prime targets of shelling, either destroyed or left precariously standing. However, the Kremlin in Russia miraculously preserved itself amid the war, suffering only minor damage, which is truly astounding. After World War II, the Russian state archives declassified records of the Kremlin from that time, revealing an even more incredible fact: the grand architectural complex avoided enemy bombing by seemingly disappearing. It's important to note that the Kremlin is located in central Moscow, the capital of Russia, and it is enormous. In theory, it should be easily recognizable from the air. So how did it manage to disappear? When the Great Patriotic War broke out, the German military set primary bombing targets in Moscow, including Stalin's office, the Grand Kremlin Palace, and Lenin's mausoleum. However, the Russians had excellent intelligence capabilities and immediately took countermeasures to thwart the German plans. Under Stalin's orders, Lavrenti Beria, the vice-chairman of the Soviet People's Commissariat, executed a great transformation plan for the Kremlin. He instructed the guards to paint the entire building red and chestnut brown, blending it easily with the surrounding structures. That wasn't all. The guards also covered the golden domes with black protective covers or painted them black, and set up numerous decoy buildings nearby, including a full-scale model of the Kremlin. These substitutes on the ground made it difficult for pilots in the air to distinguish the real Kremlin. In addition to the Kremlin, Lenin's mausoleum was also disguised. Guards covered the high platforms on either side with huge red banners and erected a 3-story wooden model above them. Some might find it hard to believe that such disguises, especially given the technological advancements driven by war, could fool the German forces. But the answer is yes, they did. After the Kremlin's transformation, the frequency of German bombing attempts significantly decreased. The year 1941 saw the most bombings, with 5 attacks, but the following year there were only 3, and after that, none at all. Why were the Germans still able to conduct a few bombings on the Kremlin? It turned out to be due to natural weather conditions. Sometimes rain or snow in Moscow would wash off some of the paint around the Kremlin, inadvertently revealing parts of its outline, prompting immediate German attacks and resulting in some tragic incidents. Of course, some believe that omnipresent war spies gathered information about the Kremlin's camouflage, leading to these disasters. During the 2 years the Kremlin was bombed, German bombers dropped a total of 167 bombs on it. In the first bombing, a 250-kilogram bomb punched a hole in the roof and the Georgievsky Hall of the palace before landing on the floor. This incident was the Kremlin's greatest loss, with about 100 guards killed, multiple windows and doors damaged, and communication lines cut off. Fortunately, the palace itself was not severely damaged, and no major fires broke out, while German aircraft suffered a 15% loss due to Russian ground defenses, indicating the tide of victory. After World War II, the Russians restored the Kremlin. Today, this ancient palace complex still stands proudly in Red Square, Moscow, symbolizing Russia.